Hey, there you go. And we're alive. All right, folks, welcome back to another week on whatever the hell this show is named. Great place to start, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Because we're going to try to change a few things around here in the next little while. Anyway, so let's at least get through all the pleasantries. We'll go on my screen left to right, which would be Mr. Bill Slosky. Say hello and everyone what you've been up to.
Hello, I'm Bill Slosky. I'm the author at SEO by the Sea, and I'm the director of SEO research at Go Fish Digital. I'm just hanging out today writing blog posts. Slow day.
That's summer, dude. Someone asked me, how's business lately? I was like, you give me July and August, always my quiet period, which is summer. So here in Canada, unlike you Californians, but you're ex-New Jersey, you come from the north, my friend. So, yeah, I just work all winter.
I've got to research my next 10,000 word blog post.
Is that the sweet spot? You sure it should be okay?
You're kind of taking that long form to an extreme, Billy.
Yeah, you gotta at least have that sweet spot. I'm pretty
sure I did that a million website study that said 10,000 words was the perfect length.
Well, it is. It's perfect.
And we've got famous chemist SEOs with PhDs saying
right.
the right thing.
Right. So if somebody types in
piled higher and deeper, so I've got to believe it.
As long as there's 400 ranking factors in it.
Well, no, but if somebody types into Google how to make the color green, we definitely need at least about 10,000 words.
And if
it couldn't possibly be query dependent, come on. Crazy talk, man.
Yeah, query dependent, query independent, both flavors fit.
All right, Blair, what have you been up to, man? Long time no see. Good to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Well, currently I've been building an SEO program which will allow me to rank basically any YouTube video. I've also started doing quite a lot of different jobs on my own websites. After I've done some jobs so far, my rankings have gone up quite a bit. I've also, people kept asking me to train them SEO, so I started a paid group with growing.
Oh, freeze up. Whoa!
Can you mute yourself for a second?
Good old BT. Good old BT. All right, moving over to Kevin.
Hello. Let's see. I've been working on auditing blog sites.
Right, because you have an audit session, so you're boning up just for me, right? Of course. I was going to say there's only one thing you should be doing lately, and that's just...
That's exactly what I've been doing. I wanted to audit 450 blog sites. Yes. That's it. Move on.
Sorry, man. My dog decided to get in the show here. All right. Yep, you're done.
What about the big giant bear?
No, this is just a little one. I got like 3 of these fucking things.
No, the stuff thing.
Oh no, that's a monkey, dude. Hey, dumbass. Go away. Fuck off. Get out of here. All right, Doc.
Doc Sheldon, Intrinsic Value SEO and Search News Central. And all I've been doing this last week, I'm building a couple of new sites, and I've been doing my second favorite thing, fighting with CSS. A close second after root canals.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get you, man. I have no problems with CSS.
Well, I don't have a problem with CSS as a concept. It's
well, I was joking.
Custom themes.
The reason I don't have a problem with is because I just sent Tanya an email.
Because Tanya doesn't.
There you go.
Yeah. Doesn't bother me at all.
Well, when you're working with one of these themes that likes to have,
and it's telling me to minify scripts and do all this other shit, I'm like, well, I ain't fucking doing it.
When your customer specs a theme that has 17 different style sheets called on the homepage alone.
Oh.
On the fucking homepage. Give me a break.
But again, I just had a meeting. I just had a meeting with one of my clients, and we were talking about the whole speed thing, and I explained it in reality. Like, here's how much it's going to cost you, how many hours to really do it, or do you want to slowly, incrementally work on hub pages and the way on up every month? You know what I mean? Like, and you're gonna have to lose this slider, and you're gonna have to lose this thing here because
sliders history, it's gone, it's out of here.
Yeah, well, you can't minify them, you can't do shit with them.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's horrible. Okay, well, I don't know where Terry went, so we'll go Steve. What's up, buddy?
Hi, just Steve Bonin,
Harris Webb Creative in sunny Southern Ontario. I've just been doing the routine stuff, just fixing up pages. Started a new project for one of my clients. I wrote about it in the dojo a little bit. We're gonna get some manufacturer pages to go between the.
Too much passion, buddy. When you
Say
start
again?
saying routine and stuff, that's it. We got to, we got to move you into something else. That's it. Like,
Got a new.
it's all routine now. No, dude, I've been doing this 20 years. You never want that.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
why,
know.
that's why we have Terry. You know what I mean? You need some excitement in your life. Just say, Terry, can we talk on Skype for a minute? He'll give you lots to get excited about.
Well, I took a day off this week, so it seemed a little harder to get all the time in.
I took Tuesday off.
I took Tuesday off.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I went and
Well, it's because it finally got cool here.
I
It
went
was
and
like 40 degrees for like a week, and then it got cool for a few days. Now it's going back up again this week.
helped a buddy set up a home theater room. So that's what I did Tuesday.
Tim, what have you been up to, sir?
Tim Calling, a Servant's Heart Web Design and Marketing. Pretty much normal. I won't say routine.
Yeah, I noticed how you danced around that one.
Yeah, normal. No, one of the big things I'll be working on pretty soon is a redesign for actually our largest client, and so that'll be interesting for their site.
You know,
And,
I gotta say, the way my last few weeks have gone, brother, is that I think normal and routine is probably good because because doing forensics, I'm walking in on situations where it's all hands on deck and there's putting out fires and like
normal is good.
Rome is burning. I mean, so to hear people going routine, normal, which I have one client that I'm pretty much there. I just, doing certain things each month on a plan and strategy I have. And,
Yep.
But yeah, so much forensic stuff the last while now. It's just like
I'm too old for all that drama.
No, it is. It's painful.
Yeah.
And of course, Terry, now that you're back, say hello before we get going here. It only takes us 10 minutes to get going around here. Yeah. Mr. Van Horn, sir, what have you been up to other than being in that meeting with my client by accident?
Oh, not much really. I finished up Dojo Radio, so hoping lots of people come by and see that.
Well, there. I think that's a good place to start for everybody. Is that we before we had podcasts, before we had hangouts, before we had any of this shit, we used to just sit around. 2007, I guess, Terry, maybe.
2010 is when it started.
No, but I'm saying like just in the
before that, yeah.
So we'd have these Skype chats, and there was like 6 or 7 of us, and like Aaron and me and Terry and Rob was there, I guess, once in a while, and Justin, Steve Garenser, and we just sit around on Fridays and talk shit on Skype privately. You know what I mean? But there'd be once in a while people would be like listening to Terry and Steve go at it or something, or Justin making jokes. They'd be like, "You guys should like really just broadcast this fucking thing." So we started doing that. So we did a podcast for a long time, and then it became the Regulators. And so this whole format, like we're supposed to be doing today, but of course I'm wandering elsewhere, of talking about the latest news. I don't know if it's me or the public or anybody else, but it just gets old after a while. So I started thinking that, we maybe covered some relevant topics in the first half of a show and then took questions from people, like promote it that way. So we actually have questions, which we don't this week. But doing a format like that started to sound like something different to do. I don't know.
Yeah. That's more like how we started, with a guest, and then we would do the news, or vice versa.
But yeah, these days it's just so easy for people to ask questions on the fly and stuff like that. Like, I just think it'd be nice to. People always have them.
Yeah,
we have some interesting people.
There wasn't many places where we could get questions before, other than in our own channels for the dojo private ones. So yeah, that was a bit of an issue.
Well, funny enough, if I'm being lazy, I can literally just look through the Facebook group and there's questions in there.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy did ask when the only question we officially got when I decided to try this week was that If I take text and make it the same color as the background, will I get a massive ranking boost? Right. I was like, thank you.
Only if you go with RGB code.
Well, I told him that. I told him that was the super secret stuff, and he would have to pay for our course.
Yeah.
So, we don't put that shit out in public. Come on, that's the real trick.
Lord Almighty.
Well, you know, one thing to think about, Dave, is that in the dojo, the private dojo group on Facebook, you might not get as many good questions that you'd want to cover here as you would if you had a public forum. Kind of like dumb SEO questions, but one of your own.
Yeah. Well, no, we do actually have a SEO Dojo boot camp, which is the open one now. The other one that we're a part of, again, I didn't want it to get infested because Google started, Facebook started showing it in suggested groups and stuff. So I get tons and tons and tons of join requests all the time. And there's two questions: where do you hear about us, and da. And it always turns out to be random folks that So they, and again, not to insult any younger SEOs or anything like that, but one of the questions I ask in there now is how long you've been doing it. Essentially, if someone doesn't have at least 10 years in and got a few people in that group, they're not getting in. I'll send them the other one, right? And that's more of the open one that you're talking about, kind of format.
Yeah. If people somehow knew to go there and that was the place to ask.
Well, it's still again, it's just once that brand builds a bit, it'll start coming up as a suggested group on Facebook, and people. It still gets 3 or 4, people join in a day right now. So.
It amazes me how many people don't answer those questions on the groups that I manage. It's just, I will tell them.
Overloaded. Depending on how many groups you're in, you can get overloaded at a point. You know what I mean? Like you get tired of answering questions. Like I haven't answered many too late, lately, but.
I've got I mean the questions to join.
Oh, that Well, those keep coming. There's about 20 sitting on the main dojo group right now, and I'm gonna send them over to the other one.
I run a couple of private groups for, like home care company owners and things like that, and people, I'd say only maybe 1 out of 10 actually bothers to answer the questions when they join, and I just delete them. I don't even bother sending them a message.
Yeah, I'd say we get about a 90% answer rate with the ones with the dojo, so I guess
that's pretty good.
Because very, very seldom do I have didn't answer questions. You know what I mean? I'd say about 7.
You're doing well.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, anyways, just a thought. So I know we did this 2 weeks ago, but it's official now that all the speed stuff's going out. So, yeah, I know. I don't know. Bill, this is one I kind of got my head going. Was originally it was the speed of a site based upon comparative sites in an industry, and then about 10 days ago, John Mueller came out with saying there's also an element of continuous improvement process. I guess that if incrementally your site is getting faster over time, that they'll take that into account as you give it an effort. I guess maybe. Did you read any of that stuff?
I experienced something I hadn't seen before, which was the same URL listed in a set of search results twice from the same site. I looked at them on desktop and couldn't tell what was going on. Looked at them on my phone and noticed that one of the URLs was an AMP page. And the AMP pages are on Google's catch, and they aren't really on that domain. So they make it look like it's on that domain. So it really wasn't the same domain. It wasn't the same page, even though it was the same content. So it leaves me wondering, really, are they doing this mobile first indexing? Have they considered all the things?
Well, that makes it sound like there's a bug in that system for sure. But as an audit guy, that also makes me think that clients need to be wary of those presentations and how the technology is that content.
Hold on.
Yes, sir. We're holding.
Hello.
Oh, and there goes Bill. Well, so I don't know, Doc, Terry, boys, everyone, Kevin, anyone. Again, I don't know where to throw this one. I was thinking about it earlier today when I had a meeting with a client. We heard about mobile for year after year, and then finally it kicked in. But we also heard about schema, rich text, and and that never really fully took over. So where do you put this speed one? Is this going to be like mobile, that it's going to be important, much larger someday, or is this going to be more like a schema, rich text, mark? It's going to be a lesser thing.
The schema stuff has been slow because it's sort of a second generation of search.
Yeah.
Right, but like I'm saying, like how we approach, we heard hype about both of them about equally. Like remember mobile back in 2006, 7, it was like it's coming, and then it never came. Then finally, bam.
Well, people
I'm
see
curious
what
if this one explodes or if this one
approaches in the pitchforks to go after Google, the angry villagers, because they don't like Google scraping their content, and it's stealing from them. Therefore, that's not friendly to small business owners. So we've got to go up in arms against it. And I think that slowed Google down. They've done things like put carrots out there, like rich results, rich snippets, to try to help people get more click-throughs. But they've had to come up with ways to make people doing SEO want to do stuff with
right. But again, like my question's kind of though, which one of, because obviously it's going to be something somewhere at some point. But how do we see this? Is this going to be a gradual build with like schema and that stuff, or is this going to be a big boom, kind of like mobile was? Like the speed thing, they just won't leave it alone. So there's got to be at some point.
I think about gradual.
Even talking to my client today, she even said, and she's a business owner, not a developer in SEO. She goes, but beyond SEO, Dave, it's just good for the user, right? Like to navigate and the site better and conversions and this and that. And I was like, you're damn right. I said, yeah, the SEO part, I'm just letting you know. But yeah, end of the day, we should be doing this for our end user anyways. So
I think a part of it that's going to probably make it a slow process is the fact that, and they've even come out and said, this is not going to affect those sites that are loading in 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. This is going to affect those sites that are tremendously slower. Guys that are taking 18 seconds to load, they're going to feel an impact.
There's challenges in that. Like you've got these clients who want these big bloaty sliders and crap like that.
Yeah.
They're hard to deal with. You try minifying those scripts, good luck. You know what I mean? You try like lazy loading the page, good luck. You can't do that on your basic WordPress install with like your course.
The people who have sites that take 20 seconds to load aren't going to fix them, no matter what Google says.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. They probably don't even know they have a problem, Bill.
Yeah.
And I do like the statement from Google that they're going to look at an evolutionary level of this. Meaning, if you are constantly increasing your speed time, doing 10, 20 pages a month, folks, then apparently, according to Google, they're going to notice that, which I thought was fair.
I would guess, David, that we're going to see this go on for another year or two with no great change from Google until at some point in time, they're just going to realize, okay, about as many people as are going to really work on this have done it. So screw it. From now on, if you're loading, let's say 15 seconds or 10 seconds, you're going to get a hit.
So what almost like a panda penguin? But is that relative to a panda penguin thing? Talk about it for a while, then move on?
Yeah, to see how many people will pay attention and take action. And if not enough take action, then they'll strengthen their stance.
It's not a relevance factor.
Right. I don't think speed helps you. I think all it does is hurt you. I don't think Google looks at it as a way to improve your site. I think if push comes to shove and there's a slower site, that's a ding. But making your site faster does not improve your rankings. It will never improve your rankings, I don't think. I think the only thing is if it's A and B are exactly the same and B is slower than A, then A shows up above B. I think that's the only thing.
I don't even, it's not even close. So like again, the one client I was talking to earlier today, they're 1 and 2 with somebody in their industry. Like that's it. There's nobody else across all the different varied queries. It's 1 or 2. And I ran the competitor through GT Metrics and some other shit. They're tons slower than us, so I don't think it's that big a deal.
So related question would be, as designers, are we thinking mobile first when you design?
I would. And again, for you, no, it depends on your market. I mean, again, you're in B2B or something like that, you might have a much bigger divide. Again, it depends, right? So, you got to look at the market. You got to look at what it is, what type of product.
I'd like to clarify something, though, David, just for the sake of the listeners, that when you say mobile first, let's be sure that they understand that we're talking about the mobile first index, not mobile first versus responsive in terms of development, because we're talking here about mobile first index, and that doesn't mean that mobile first development is going to.
No, essentially, all it means, I think but Doc just wants to explain it for people now and forever when they watch on YouTube. Mobile first, essentially, from what I gather, is that if you have a legit mobile version of your site, that's what we're going to use when we're looking at ranking index and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't, we don't. Because they even said, like, if you don't have a mobile version, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's if you have one, that it's going to take that as the dominant entity over your desktop version.
Responsive is still, I think, the best option for just about everybody. If they have, unless they have absolutely no desktop users, they know that their market is going to be strictly mobile, then perhaps not. But otherwise, I would say responsive is almost always going to be the best option, because it does meet the mobile first criteria if it's done properly.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think that. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, one of the things I've been noticing is mobile first seems to be a philosophy that they're going to pay attention to mobile devices before desktop devices.
Yep.
So when I see illustrations in patents from Google, the illustrations aren't on desktop computers, they're on phones. And with the screenshot is of something happening on a phone. It's really mobile first because they're creating the technology for mobile devices.
And here's what I wanted to add, Bill. We were talking about speed as a ranking factor. Well, now mobile friendly is a bigger factor than the speed of your site. Right? Think about it, because mobile first. And the thing is, and here's where I kind of disagree with you, Doc. I want to clarify something. Just because you're responsive design does not mean you're mobile friendly.
Oh, of course not. No, it's two different things. I grant that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about in terms of display. Responsive displays are almost always going to be the best option, the easiest option, and the most versatile option. Okay, but it's just like saying that you're mobile friendly doesn't mean that you're fast. That's just one aspect of being mobile friendly.
Right.
Remember two different critters. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that when you're using WordPress, in a lot of cases, the plugins take a huge picture and just change the dimensions on the picture to make it fit in the mobile. You're still downloading that big picture.
Yep.
That's what makes it a responsive design can be not mobile friendly.
Okay, so I should say a responsive design properly done then. Because if you're uploading a 1080 wide image to show as a thumbnail, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, well, you just don't know any better, right? But the thing is,
and again, know thy theme. Know that, you know what I mean? Like, we work, a lot of us work on different websites and different plugins and different crap running all over the place. Is it resizing stuff? Is it, compressing? Like what's installed? Like you got to, even as an SEO, if you want to deal with speed and stuff, Doc, you know it as well as I do. You got to know your way around the back end of WordPress to understand what themes there, to understand what plugins are there and what they're doing, and you know what I mean. It was funny. Someone in the SEO Dojo said, really, technical SEOs, is there anything beyond crawling and indexing? And I was like, those are such barefaced, stupid areas that what does that even mean? But yeah, there certainly is. There's things like server-side shit. CNAME issues like you were finding last week, Terry, with that other forensic job. Like and knowing the back end of a CMS. You know what I mean? You got to kind of know your way around to know what's possible, to know what you can do with it, how you can adapt it, where the problems are, where's the bottlenecks, yada, yada,
When I saw that question, Dave, you can kind of take those things, cause errors that can either be put into crawling or indexing.
Yeah, but I think if somebody wants to be that anal about it, I could actually say that indexing should go under crawling.
Well, you could put it all under one if you wanted to, crawling. because indexing comes after crawl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you want to get that, like that's what I thought. I was like, well, because then there's this piece and that offshoot and this piece and branch and branch and branch and tree. You know what I mean? So I was like, really.
Or we
Crawly,
could
really.
just call it all
Because
search
it's
engine
that simple.
optimization.
If your whole fucking site is 404ing and it can't be crawled, don't worry about indexing. It's pretty fucking simple, people.
Just bunch it all under one umbrella. Search engine optimization.
So it should be said that back to our first comments about routine and normal, that there is a certain level of chaos in SEO that is routine and normal.
Certainly is in my household.
I had so many, Doc, I didn't even know which one to pick on that. But thank you, Steve. You're a good straight man. You and I should head to Vegas. I'm thinking, that's it. We're taking this show on the road, boys. Yeah, I thought that was kind of ridiculous. You know, because it's like saying, is there anything about SEO that doesn't fall under the heading internet? Sure, I guess offline stuff, you might get a write up in the paper, get a link. I don't know.
You know, the other sort of waiting in the wings issue, I think, is going to be SSL in terms of when it finally becomes to be a big deal.
Okay, I want to ask people something, right? Can anyone explain to me why, if I don't have forms and I'm not collecting information, why Google wants me to put SSL on my site?
I'm not defending Google.
No, I didn't say you were. I'm just putting it out there. Why are they doing it?
I'll give you one example, Terry. SSL is encrypting everything two ways, okay? If I come to your site and I don't have to subscribe or log in or anything else, it's still gathering my IP address, my browser, my, you know, all this information on me, which by itself is not necessarily high risk or valuable to somebody. But when aggregated with other information, it can become a problem. Now, with the bent towards first in the EU and now even in California, shortly in Australia and Canada too, by the way, IP address will be considered personal information. If that's not encrypted, it can be intercepted. And that will be considered, from a legality standpoint, a disclosure of personal information. So I think that SSL still has security benefits, even when you're not actually logging in, providing a password or username.
I get it.
Well, and just so you know, if you're dealing with Europe, which I am, and GDPR and IP addresses, it definitely becomes a factor.
Absolutely. So now, California just signed into law basically a carbon copy of GDPR. Same way, IP address is personal identifiable information.
Boy, that came through.
So while we're on this, hey, Catherine.
Hi, I'm in Switzerland. Sorry.
Long time no see.
Oh, I've never even seen her, to be honest. I've been talking to Catherine for what, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, a long time we've been talking.
Years.
Many years. I just never met you before. It's so awesome. I just had to put that in there. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, no, I think you guys by now know that I've made the move to Europe. I'm now living
yes, we do.
Lausanne, Switzerland.
Yeah, how's it going?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Lausanne. I'm 45 minutes south of Geneva.
Nice. That's cool. So what have you been doing lately?
No, and hiring. I've hired, they keep giving me more options to hire more people. So I had my first hire start last week, but I have 2 starting in September, and then I have 3 open recs right now.
Nice.
You broke up, at least for my audio.
No,
you said where you work.
Yeah, no, 3. I have 3 that I'm hiring for right now.
Well, that senior SEO position for $500,000 a year, euros, not dollars, man. Don't even mess with the Canadian dollar.
I can underbid that by $50,000 a year.
God damn it.
So back to the question of Google and SSL. whether you think it's justified or not, they seem to have a pattern of, they announce something and they let it boil around for a couple of years, and then eventually it becomes serious with them. And
or it doesn't. Sometimes you got to remember, no one remembers the stuff that disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to get them. There's a lot of stuff that floats out there, and I think like Doc was saying earlier, they're gonna look at data. I think Doc was saying that earlier, that they're gonna look at the data and see if it moved what needles they wanted to move in their own initiatives, and take it from there.
I think anyway. I think from what I understand, when Chrome version 68 rolls out, which is I guess sometime this month, all of a sudden it may get a little bit more attention just because it's going to look really ugly in the Chrome browser, at least, when everybody's site starts getting labeled as not secure. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, again, I don't have a client that's not.
Again, they're deciding what people can see on the internet.
That's fine. But so does my government. I can't go piss in the fucking middle of the road right now. So arrest me. But I'm just saying, it's just a reality for my clients. I don't care about it that much. I'm not a warrior, like a social.
Yeah, well, I worry about censorship anywhere. Period.
Stuff that's built towards privacy and things of that nature, I don't mind. I can live with it. If it's Google telling me or if it's my ISP, I don't care. I think it's still a good idea. There's no problem encrypting data. I have no problem with privacy concerns. None of that shit bothers me. I think it's logical. I like it.
Yeah,
my kids could care
less.
Well, no, but somebody's got to fight for it, because my kids could care less. They don't know what the hell they click every time on their phone when they say yes to a user agreement. They're like 18 and 16 years old.
They're
so if somebody's not out there in the background, working to protect that shit, they're not going to do it. So
the way I look at it is, if you allow them to do these things and no one fights back, it's just going to grow. They're going to ask more and more, and that's what they've done from.
But I don't understand the whole.
We need to help Google do things to protect people too, like better label ads on search results.
Yeah.
Google needs help doing that.
I don't think that it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense to fight against everything that Google says just because it's Google saying it. Okay.
I've never done that. I've never said no just because they said it.
Well, what is your problem with wanting to see my personal data protected then? Because SSL is doing that. I mean,
they're deciding who can see what websites, right? That's what they're doing. They're blocking people from seeing the website. I don't mind them telling them that the website is not secure. Then they can make the decision.
Which is what they're doing.
Well, I have not. Okay, I haven't seen any sites actually blocked.
Well, they're not blocking it. They're just
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve.
Mr. Plunkett, how are we, sir?
Oh, God.
Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
Oh, Lord.
In the right direction.
At least he's dark.
In the right direction. Steve brings us the class up by at least 12% when he walks in.
Steve may not really be here.
Yeah, hello.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm in a room full of people.
Hello, people.
We can't, honey, I got to talk to you for a second.
Okay.
Hold on. Oh, where can he read lips?
Blow in his ear, he'll follow you anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did the pro sport thing and covered her mouth so we couldn't read her lips, man. Like, that's professional, man.
No, I'm in the middle of a room and there's a bunch of legal stuff going on, so I can't show you anything. So wifey told me I was in error. So
fortunately, we were going to have to see it though. So you're
good. Usually when you're in, never mind. Say that.
All right, so I guess in other fucking news, because again, we beat this speed thing up and stuff on Google enough the other week.
Oh, I'm never gonna shut up.
Well, no, there was an interesting comment and discussion that came out of one of the Google John Mueller Hangout thingies, and it's not really what he said that matters this time, but it was just, I thought, an interesting concept. They were talking about flat architecture and depth to clicks, essentially. And I think a lot of people don't think of that. I think a lot of SEOs I meet these days think architecture means you know, / this, / that. They think a URL is the architecture of a site a lot of times, and a lot of times it is to a degree. But what Mueller was talking about was the depth of clicks to get to pages. The more clicks in that chain to get to a page, the less valuable Google thinks it is, as opposed to the inverse. So I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't hear a lot of people that, you know, obviously a lot of you guys and stuff, but out there in the, you know, groups and shit, I don't think people understand architecture's actual level of clicks to get to certain places and navigate a site, you know, like wireframing and shit like that we used to do. Like, I'm curious if because a lot of people, I think when they talk about architecture, they're really talking about URL structure. They're not actually talking architecture, you know?
No, I mean, when we used to be in Office Depot, when I was running that site, we had a lot of problems with URLs getting buried in the architecture because we were too many clicks away. And because we would, you know, you'd have your L1, your L2, your L3. When you start getting around L4, L5, you're so buried, nobody's ever going to find that content.
And that's exactly what the conversation was about. And it just occurred to me, so many younger SEOs seem to consider architecture as the URL structure, not actual, you know,
most
to a path.
Most new SEOs think hub pages or hubbing is a site on the internet when it's a style of design. And what it guarantees is that every one of my sites, no more than 3 clicks to the page. 2 if you're on the site, 3 including the click off the search engine. Even if I get the target.
John was talking to Terry about it, Terry, and like Matt was explaining to you and I about internal links. That you know, that Google considers the one with the least amount of internal links to be not important to you, and the one with the most to be more important. He was kind of saying it the same way, that the further that page is down that chain, the less valuable we think it is. Meaning, the less we'll crawl it, the less we think it matters to you,
right.
et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? So,
well, what we ended up doing,
I thought it was interesting, and so many people don't talk about architecture in that format anymore. So.
I could certainly imagine that from a crawl standpoint, a deeper level would get less attention from the bots than a higher level. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, once in a while, and I always, like Terry, I always try to make it a maximum of 3 clicks, but once in a while you can come across a site where you've got enough subcategorization that it just makes sense to go 4 levels. And like, you know, like I guess you just have to run the risk that it may get buried.
No, not even a risk though, but it's not even a risk, it's a strategy, because you got to think about that site that I've been working with, right? 5 million fucking pages. You got to know which ones to put at the end of the day. It's that strategy of how you're building that site though.
It depends on the website, but I know, like, when I was working on Office Depot, we did a project to flatten the hierarchy because there's just too many things buried into too many things. Yeah. And we sat down with the taxonomists. What was really effed up was they were basing the web taxonomy on the merch hierarchy, like basically how they set up their goddamn catalog that you get in the mail how many years ago. And we had to go through a whole project to start to flatten things because there were so many layers. It was terrible. Like, you couldn't get to a product page. My product page would sit like L4, L5 down. It was terrible.
Well, yeah, and there's logistics feedback there too, because you've got tremendous bandwidth burden put on your servers if they're having to go 5 clicks to get to that artist's pencil, as opposed to 2 clicks. Then that's an awful lot of bandwidth being put on your servers.
Call me from the school of Terry, but I also look at which movers, which is, that distance is also based upon where your profit margins are in certain
things. Sure.
I mean, like, I think all those things have to come into consideration.
In my opinion, if people can't find what they want in 2 or 3 clicks, if they don't see they're close, they're gone. They have to screw around hunting on your website. They didn't 15 years ago because there wasn't the amount of websites that there are now. There's no reason to go that many clicks on a website these days. There's too many people offering the same stuff. They won't do it. That's just my opinion. I've been wrong once or twice.
Well, and the other thing you got to watch out for, and this happened to me also when I was doing large-scale e-commerce, is when your merchants go out and make these contracts with these virtual warehouses, and now they're bringing in the virtual feed, and that just creates another layer.
Oh, right.
And starts burying some core pages when they start activating these additional feeds, which of course is going to make it heavier.
If you get lazy and you import it that way, it also mirrors a bunch of other sites. It also doesn't follow your own guidelines on levels and depth.
But sometimes they don't have a choice but to import it that way, though, Dave.
Yes, it's in the contract sometimes. Yeah, yep, for sure.
Sometimes
but if you
it's
have any kind of
contractual.
wiggle room, then definitely. It's again, it depends, right?
Office supply websites are amongst my least favorite places to try to go buy things. The catalogs are just impossible.
Come on, if you have to do 5 clicks to get to the product, you're on an office supply site, you're not going to do it.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly right.
I actually worked in office supplies for 30 years, and I was integral to building the spec for websites back in the 90s, and it was it's just an awful industry to work in. And what you say about
well, you got everything from Post-it notes to laptop computers, so you know.
Yeah.
Well, no, and we were starting to carry medical supplies. I'm sorry. Are you going to buy your medical supplies from Office Depot?
Oh yeah,
I actually got in trouble because I killed boat anchors. I was like,
I'm sorry, what?
Why do we have boat anchors?
Why the fuck?
Boat anchors?
Oh no, that's a
Office
Pocket
Depot.
PC.
They wanted to put boat anchors in Office Depot.
No, you understand, when I merged Office Max into Office Depot, I did a SKU harmonization project of 140,000 SKUs. I cataloged all the different categories and like how far things were layering. And I actually found that we were carrying boat anchors and like some other weird yachting things. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I killed it. I didn't 301 it. People are like, why are you 404ing this? I said, because if by some insane reason, somebody thinks Office Max, oh, I need a boat anchor, I don't want to redirect them to my office supply site.
You could have some newspaper person get a hold of that shit and have some fun.
I'm telling you.
I can tell you from experience that two things happen. People want to buy everything in their office supply budget, and they will expense their boat anchors. They will certainly.
Yep, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's
Plus, at least in Canada, office supply companies deliver. They deliver every week on a schedule, and that's the other thing. So, first aid supplies, janitorial supplies, coffee making supplies,
essentials.
all those things are in the office supply.
Whiskey, and then you get dock on your contract.
Yeah,
no, but those are essential items, and you usually have an ample budget for those.
The whiskey and the medical supplies. The whiskey and the medical supplies do go hand in hand, Doc.
Well,
you could order diapers
in that order.
You could order diapers and a crib off of our website.
Well, that delivery point is more important before Amazon too.
What? No underwear?
So what's the charge for shipping for a boat anchor?
I have no idea.
Well,
how big is your boat?
That's the other thing, Bill. The shipping from office supply companies is free. It was on their own trucks.
Oh, nice.
It's always
people are opening an office. They go into those stores looking to buy anything they think they need for the office. They want to make one stop. They don't want to go to 10 stores.
Recreational shopping at the office supply store.
Now, Amazon did come out with the patents where they're putting 3D printers on trucks, delivery trucks, so they can print products on the way to deliver them.
Who is this, Bill?
Amazon.
Yeah, I
saw
that.
It's amazing.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, they came out about a year and a half ago.
I was going to say 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When I worked for a big enterprise procurement company, the other challenge was the sales guys would go out and make these really great sounding deals, but they they had covenants to provide favorable placements and things like that, and it just made it nuts for people trying to manage websites and set up hierarchies and things. Horrible.
Well, now if I ever get a boat, I know where I can find my anchor.
Well, no, see, now you would go to Amazon because they've completely won over that whole delivery thing, and
No, they've got everything.
yeah.
So
No,
wait,
they do.
someone's
Really do.
trying to tell me that Amazon is printing boat anchors now?
Very, very light ones.
Yes, and deliver them with a drone, bro.
Wait. Let's have a self-driving car that launches the drone that delivers.
Oh, well, yeah. I like that. So it gets into the neighborhood, launches 5 drones, which all go out and deliver, right?
So Google's going to come out with Atlas robots to deliver products too.
Maybe.
Those things are scary.
I think so. That would. I can't see the downside.
That was one of my startups, Robot Milkman, self-driving cars that launch drones to deliver packages. And they also scan your house for cybersecurity issues on your Wi-Fi while they're driving by. It's called Robot Milkman. I shit you not. Go look. It's at Robot Milkman on Twitter.
Oh, God.
You have robotmilkman.com?
Yeah, robotmilkman.com and at Robot Milkman on Twitter.
Wow. Reminds me, I've been meaning to change my home Wi-Fi router name to FBI Surveillance Man number 3.
There you go.
I use it as Langley VPN works really well for me. People don't try and get on my network.
I like that.
I figured it's easier just to put free Wi-Fi and then take their IP address and take everything from it.
No, you call it Starbucks 2. Sit in the parking lot and hack all their stuff.
Oh boy. And hence we come back to SSL.
So I've noticed with SSL that if you switch a site from HTTP to HTTPS, Google generally takes about 2 weeks to re-index the entire site, even if you have all 4 versions in Webmaster Tools.
Now, I'm trying to think. The last time I did one of those conversions, I submitted it. Let's see. I did a fetch and render. It was a small site, and it was like nearly instantly indexed, and everything was fine.
I got the new one indexed, but it didn't do the whole spidering thing to where it actually started coming up for keywords again until about 2 weeks later.
It worked for me, but it may be just different circumstances.
So Terry, I think with Google put out a post over the week that titled "Why It's Time for Search Engine Marketers Become Video Marketers."
Oh yeah.
I was thinking Terry's gonna like that. Here's a link there for you folks.
Yeah.
For anybody who watched on the event pages, all the links are there. So yeah, that guy. I was like, "What's going on? Are we not making enough money from YouTube advertising, or do they actually care?" Like, I was like, I don't know. So where are we going with this?
Well, I read it as actually doing videos, but by the time I got to the end of the article, I got the point that he was talking about advertising on the videos. And years ago, I had a conversation with Steve Dojo, who has a great following, and he says he could never live on the amount of money he made from the pay-per-clicks on his videos, and he puts out one a week.
Yeah, but again, it's a brand lift thing. It's a, you know what I mean? It's got multiple uses.
How much do you
I'm
think
just curious
the
why
value of
Google, I was just curious why Google was leaning on it so hard right now amidst everything else they've been talking
Well,
about.
if you're a gamer streaming Fortnite on Twitch, you can't really record it to YouTube, though. So a lot of people are doing SEO stuff now on Twitch.
Yeah.
They're getting paid.
The streaming on YouTube's getting a little better. Like there's some people starting to use it. But...
I don't think they actually have the monetary system enabled like Twitch,
No.
to where you guys want to watch me talk about SEO, you pay $5.99 for your subscription.
Yeah, not happening. No, they do not have anything close to that.
Not yet, but we'll see.
You gotta beg for donations.
Right.
No, my idea, when I read the title, I thought he was going to talk about embedding links into the videos, doing, brands actually doing videos and then having linked to pages and stuff like that, and using that. And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea, but for an actual brand. But yeah, the video advertising, I think is still, I don't know who clicks on them. Do you guys click on them? Click on?
Well, to a degree, who clicks on a television ad? It's brand building. You're still building a brand. You can't always, go pure clicks.
Yeah, but you're not. He wasn't talking. They weren't talking about the video. They were talking about the little banners.
Yeah, I know. It's still brand building. You know what I mean? And
but if you do a pre-roll video,
if you've got your AdWords set up so that you're like following them everywhere, you know what I mean? Like, and then you've got that YouTube hooked out on top of everything else. It's brand lift. That's why you're doing it anyway. So
yeah, I work for a company. They make all their money off the videos they have.
Yep, guitar guys, right? Guitar guys.
Yeah, 41 million downloads of their videos.
Yep. So it's a thing, and I'm a believer in videos. So
Terry, is it targeted banner ads? Is like Gibson guitar or?
No, we put videos up, and I SEO'd them, and they rank like crazy.
Oh yeah, and that's what I thought the article was going to be about. But it wasn't about that.
Well, no, because it's Google. It's about their advertising platform, not you building your brand. I just meant video as a whole.
If you want to see money like that, Gangnam Khan, the guy who did the video that got 1 billion downloads, that guy made some money, I bet. Some real money.
Oh, the guy who the guitar got broken by American Airlines or whatever, is that the one?
No, the guy, he's from. Okay. He was the first guy to have 1 billion downloads of his video.
Okay.
And he did it in it wasn't a year.
It's not crazy viral stuff, Steve. They actually show different guitars and how did they sound and how they play them. They sell guitars and shit, dude.
Oh, that company, yeah.
No, he was talking about the viral video where Buddy's guitar got broken up, so he made a big stink.
Oh, yeah, I
no, they're not doing viral, Steve. They're literally just building the brand and slugging it out.
That guy's still making money off it.
Yep, I agree with that. I think video is great branding, and the fact that you don't have now I don't know, I haven't tried it again, but they used to be able to put annotations in and links to your site embedded in videos.
If you have a product, if you have a product that takes maintenance, that takes some self-servicing, whatever, it's worth doing. Like because people still go to YouTube and say, how do I replace the filter on my hot tub? How do I this and that on my hot tub? Remember we were talking with Justin and stuff, Terry, you and I, we were totally like, yeah, you want videos like that. Because that's also another thing. Not only do people search that kind of shit, so it builds your brand as you the expert and the whole eat shit, but that also saves you time on customer service. If you've got those embedded on your website and someone doesn't have to take up 20 minutes of some fucking customer service people's time, how do I change the fucking filter? It saves the company money. So when you save money, you make money. Videos and things like that, if it's a well thought out program and a well thought out part of your strategy, again, UX over SEO, but still benefits SEO, it's always a good thing to do because it saves depending on what it is. I mean, I'm using the hot tubs as an example. There's a million little maintenance tasks to do with a hot tub. And let's go beyond the customer service department. Let's go to the point of warranty. So if you teach them how to maintain that hot tub, maybe it doesn't break down in that first year, so you're not throwing money out on the warranty and shit. Like, there's a million ways I can convince a C-level guy that this is a good fucking idea. But I just don't think enough people use video the way it should be used.
For me too, video, you have to look at your product, and any product that is sold by touch, feel. In other words, usually it's bought in a store. Video is really good. Because when we started looking into why these videos were working so well, it was because the players, A, wanted to see the guitar on a person, see it in action. B, they wanted to hear different styles of music with the guitar. And that's what we did. Basically, when we did a video, the guy played the guitar in 4 or 5 different styles, and the people got to see how it hangs on. Because for a player, those things are important. What it looks like on you is just as important as how it sounds.
Well, no, because you'll also see as a guitar player, Terry, especially if you're talking electrics, it's going to sit in your lap differently because of the way the curvature on the bottom and shit is. So if I don't like playing like this, or I don't like playing here and there, that makes a difference, like you're saying, just to see how it's handled and how, not only how it sounds. Yeah, so for sure.
Right.
Plus the whole concept of search deserves diversity. If you're the only guy with a video on a subject.
Okay, Terry and I played with this a while back, about 4 years ago. We haven't done it recently, but we were working with a client in a query space, and so we got kind of bored, and we decided let's get a little quick video together and hit a query space that didn't have a video universal. So
right.
It's just your normal blue links, blah blah blah. And what? Within a day of putting the video up on YouTube, it showed up. All of a sudden, fucking
first
universal came up at number 3, number 2, number 3, right near the top.
Yeah.
And boom, there it was. And that was the client's video. Meanwhile, he's mired for that same query space. He's mired back on page 2. Right. So within a boom like that, you can get them on the page 1 if Google is interested in having a video in that space. Usually, obviously, informational query spaces. But
did some other tests where we got 2 or 3 different sites into one search by embedding the video somewhere, linking to that. It was video is very strong. That's my
So think of it this way: when Google makes a post like that, which again is a lot about video advertising, but that interest in video means that there might be some interest in video in the core organic index. It's just something to play with. Terry and I have done it before, and it works fairly well if Google's interested in having something there. But you don't know they could have no videos of interest to put there. So we created one, and sure enough, boom, popped up.
And from a father point of view, I can tell you my 2 girls probably watch 20 hours of video a week each.
No, dude, all my kids, when they search for stuff, they search on YouTube first. If they can't find it there, then they go to Google. Right? Because they'd rather see a visual explanation of their answer. Right. Doesn't matter if it's graphics, doesn't matter if it's a guy fixing the engine or something. They prefer to digest information that way. You know what I mean? And like one's 18 and shit, so that's just the next generation. No, they'd rather watch it than read. We're all going to be this big in 100 years. So, because everyone's lazy. But yeah, that's how they digest it. They'll go to YouTube first and they'll ask their question there. And if they can't find a video on it, then they'll go, oh, I have to read.
So the next question is, as SEOs, how do we sell the concept of spending $2,000 on a video to our clients?
But you don't have to.
You don't have to spend $1,000. That's the place to start.
No. It's again, you got to make it useful, dude. I got a gaming channel on YouTube. And the one, my most viewed video has about 200,000 views. And essentially, it's about 6 minutes showing how to do something difficult in a video game that when I went to search for it, I couldn't find. You know what I mean? So I said, fuck it. So I went and recorded it, put it up. And you know what I mean? And to this day, it's like 3 years old. It's still getting people going, thanks, and this and that. Make it useful. It's not about the video quality. You know what I mean? People are, especially the next generation, they're savvy, you know what I mean? You can't just go production value. I mean, if it doesn't serve a purpose, it has no value, other than like your viral meme shit that's good for a week. If you want something long lasting, just make it useful. You know what I mean? Like I have no commentary in the fucking thing even. I don't even talk on it, dude. It just shows you how to get from here to there, do this within 6 minutes. And to this day, it keeps getting top ranked on YouTube and keeps getting views. It's up over 200 grand. So.
Yeah, I don't think people's expectations of YouTube videos is as high as they expect on TV.
No. I mean, but
so yeah, don't worry about production values. Worry about making it useful to your client's customer.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. They could care less if it's a shaky cam, because you know what? Blair Witch Project to fucking reality TV. Everyone's used to shaky fucking cameras.
Right.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Make it useful.
So
whatever budget you got, just make it useful. So when that client has a question about your product, they can go and find that answer and see how to do it visually and take their phone out beside their car, their lawnmower, their dishwasher, what the fuck ever they're working on, and have their phone or their fucking pad or whatever sitting there while they're doing it. That's all they want. They just want you to help them. They don't give a shit if it's great production value. Just make it clear, concise, and solve a problem, you know?
Well, and not only that, if you're paying for something like a call center and you're looking at your cost per call or the amount of man hours you're paying for customer support, you know, you can start to justify it.
Yep. That's how I sell it, man. I sell it just like that. Because, yeah, it solves people calling in there to the support team who's now going to put you on hold and go to this person, which now is affecting your brand reputation because they had to sit on hold for 10 fucking minutes. Because they're going to go, their two friends and go, oh, man, I called them the other day. I sat there on hold for like 10 minutes. If they can just hop on Google, type that in, and boom, a video pops up. And then they look, who made this video? Oh, the company I bought it from. Awesome. Boom. You know what I mean? And it saves money and builds a strong brand. You know?
Most of that.
Another thing you could do is you can do a study on the value of your reviews as far as like what is your conversion rate on a product that has like 5-star or 4-star versus lower star. And you could say, hey, you know, if people don't know how to use the product or if they're having post-purchase issues and you don't explain what's going on and that lowers your reviews, that affects your ability
you don't
to
make it easy for them to understand. I mean, you don't make it that easy. They can type into Google, you know, and whatever product name problem and have that pop up with a nice, easy to know video that explains it in 3 or 4 minutes. Way you go. Like, it really doesn't take that much.
So we started just putting the videos up on YouTube, right? And then I started embedding them on the product pages. Those product pages started to convert higher as soon as I put the videos on.
Right. Are you putting a link to the product page in the description?
In
the description of the video, are you putting
on YouTube? Yeah, generally. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. Because sometimes we're pushing a whole section, like drums. We wanted to get them there to see one set, but we actually wanted to sell them another.
So that brings us back to another issue. You guys were talking about the number of clicks. So would you build a drum page that had just generically about drums and then have the product pages under that?
Yeah, that'd be the category page.
So that's
on the category page would be the subcategories and the brands.
So that's an extra click.
No, it's one click.
Well, yeah, one extra click.
And on the brand pages, I also put the subcategories. They're both hub pages.
Why do you even try, Steve? Why do you even do that, Steve? Why?
No, but you can. I still argue you can make a category page useful and not just a barrier between somebody getting to a product. Like one of the things you can do is you can do CTI or feed in your Amazon reviews and figure out what are the product aspects or questions or things people are asking about the product, and like literally make your category page sort of a buyer's guide of, hey, you're here to buy a drum. These are factors you should take into consideration before you're going to go ahead and buy this drum. And, you know, and then give your filtering options in your e-commerce cart centered around that buying guide to make it a little bit easier for them to find exactly what they're looking for.
And then obviously you can use tabs content within a page these days, which helps depending how, you know, many options are.
Category page I did would have reviews from customers, would have links to all the categories and all the brands. And on the brand page, same thing, because those are hub pages. If that means too, you got to remember that in your main navigation, you have your main categories. So everything that comes under that category should be able to be reached within 3. If it's a product page, it should be 2 from the category, 1 to the subcategory, 1 to the product page. Especially because on a large store, you can't put even one subcategory, all the products on one page. So,
well, I don't. Well, it depends on the subcategory because, like, when I was on Office Depot and we were selling fireproof file cabinets, that type of customer that was looking for a fireproof file cabinet was completely different than Mr. Average Joe looking for the higher up category file cabinet. Because most people who are looking for a file cabinet aren't worried about, is this thing going to survive an intense fire or something like that.
but all those would be on the cabinet page, like.
No, but that also almost becomes part of the taxonomy. I know what she's talking about fire ratings and stuff. Like, again, yeah. So it's also usage you have to consider and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like that does become a handful.
And this is where you come into the situation where the majority of your audience that comes to file cabinets are not going to be looking for this product. But your price point on your fireproof file cabinets is a lot, ridiculous. So you're going to want to make sure that this one niche product that has this niche audience still gets some visibility within your hierarchy.
Well, then again, you could also, along Terry's way of thinking, create a fire rating, fireproof, fire
you put it in a different subcategory.
Right. I was going to say, then you could list all those players there so that people can just navigate to that direction. Yeah.
I break everything down from category and brand because
there's nothing
keywords.
There's nothing fireproof.
Yeah, but Terry, for instance, if you get into something like for an office supply place, if you get into something like a carbonless form to record customer orders, okay. Now, how many levels of
the general category of forms?
Yeah, but you've got a lot of subcategories there to deal with to make it.
So that's why you have subcategory. So
yeah, but that's when 3 clicks can become very difficult to.
Oh no, it doesn't. Go run around Amazon sometime. Nothing's 3 clicks.
Dave's Dave and I have built a site like that. It's very easy to do. You just have to think it through.
In fairness, Amazon sells very few office supplies.
True.
Actually, believe it or not, they do, but they do it through their B2B service.
Yeah.
The first year that they launched their B2B service, they sold $2 billion in office supplies. But like Joe Schmo down the street, no, they're not going to go to Amazon looking for their office supply.
No.
They're going to grab it on their way outside of Target or Walmart or wherever they happen to be shopping for their groceries.
Right. Here it's Staples and
Office Depot.
I guess it's just Staples. We don't have Office Depot anymore.
Staples bought Office Depot, I think.
They did. They did. We have Staples and we have independent buying groups.
Yeah, there's the one that has the green logo. What were they called?
Grand and Toy.
Yeah, Grand and Toy. Who bought them?
They still exist.
Well,
really?
While we're at this office juncture of Canadian office supplies,
you do realize who owns Grand and Toy, right?
Now, slow down. We're just going to cut this here. It's 10 after 2, and since we're at the high point of the discussion, I think we'll just cut it here. And
now we'll never know who the hell owns them, David.
Well, that's why they can come to the green room. There's still a link on the event page, and if you want to know, which I'm sure you do, please come join us and learn all about Canadian office supplies here
I'm on the
with
edge
the
of my
SEO Training Dojo. All right, guys. Anyways, everyone say goodbye. We'll pick it up next week. And, thank you for.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All.
You don't have to leave, Catherine. We just close it down and then talk nasty shit about Rand and other people. See, we don't even have Rand anymore. There's no.
We don't have to go out there to do that.
There's no one to kick around anymore.
I'm perfectly willing to do that right on there.
What has happened to our industry? You know what I mean? Like, we've lost all our whipping boys. Like, everyone's gone. Poor Randy. Poor Barry Schwartz is the only one left. Yeah, like there's no one to kick around anymore. Oh well. Anyways, folks, see you next week.